Alright guys, so you've put your Civic Oration outline together, and now it's time to, start writing your actual piece. When you go into Google Classroom, you should already have a setup very similar to this that I have shared with you that is all your own. So you can go ahead and edit it, make changes, whatever you need to do. You'll notice that basically it's giving you instructions for how to write each of your paragraphs. That way you can't go wrong. Now, what you're going to do before you start putting in the stuff from your outline is there's a couple of things you need to change. The first thing you need to change is up here where it says your last name. Because this is a formal paper, we're using MLA format for this. So with MLA format, you put your last name with the page number in the header. This way, if you have a lot of pages, when you print them out, they don't get mixed up and confused. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many. Next, down here, you're going to see another spot that says your name. You're going to type your first and last name into that spot. Where you see my name on the form, you're going to keep that there because I'm the teacher that's teaching you the subject. If you were writing this for, let's say, a college professor, you would put the professor's name there instead. And then here where it says ELA period, you would put that person's class. But because you're writing it for my middle school classroom, you're going to think about what classroom period you're in, and you're going to put that number next to where it says ELA period. The date that's listed here should be the correct due date for the final draft, so go ahead and leave that as it is. Again, if you were writing this for another class, you would put whatever date they had for when it was due. Next, you'll see where it says put your original title here. Please note that original is in all caps. I'm really stressing that point. It should not be something like Civic Oration paper, or what does it mean to be a hero? Because that's your topic. So you want to have a title. See, even Anley says you can't use my title. You have to be original here. So you want to make sure that you're using an original title where it's going to connect to your piece in some way, shape, or form. I can read it and get a general idea already about what your piece is going to be about. Now, if you remember in my little practice outline that I did with you guys in the last video, I had my hook, a hero, someone who's given his or her life to something bigger than oneself, and then many people have different definitions of what it means to be a hero, and I list 3 examples of people who would be considered heroes in my book. And so I'm really going to talk about ordinary heroes in my piece. So I think that's what I'm going to title my paper, Ordinary Heroes. Now you notice that I didn't keep the title there. I deleted it and replaced it with my own. So you need to make sure anything past this point as you're going through and writing, these are simply instructions. Don't start your paper and then leave these in here. You want to delete these as you go. So you can either hit enter and then make sure that you are left aligned and tab over and start your introduction. Or what you can do is come down here, delete and go after you've read the instructions. Now, if you remember, I picked out this really nice quote that I liked from Joseph Campbell. A hero is someone who's given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. So that's how I'm going to start my introduction. That's kind of my hook into the piece. I'm not just going to throw the quote in there. I need to introduce it in some way. I need to have it link with the rest of the paragraph. It doesn't need to just be there and be kind of hanging out by itself like a weirdo in a corner. So, according to Joseph Campbell, now notice as you start typing, you've already got Times New Roman 12-point font, and it's already going to be double line space. So you don't have to change any of that. That stays as it is. It's going to automatically do that for you. According to Joseph Campbell, and I need to make sure that I spell his name correctly, I'm sure he would appreciate that. A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. So a hero is someone who has given his or her life Now let's say, okay, I'm not really good with this, so I'm going to copy, Control C, and paste, Control V. Now if I look at this, when my cursor's on it, it's not Times New Roman and it's not 12-point font. So I need to go back and I need to highlight this portion of it, and I need to make sure I click on Times New Roman and 12-point font so that it looks like the rest of the passage. If you're going to copy and paste a quote, as long as you are citing who said it, I'm telling you who said the quote here, telling people where it came from, it's okay to copy and paste it into the paper. Again, you have to have those proper citations, but you also need to make sure that once you put it in there that you're making sure that it's the same format as the rest of it. So according to Joseph Campbell, a hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. And then I continue going. This means I'm going on to explain the quote that I just put. That you do not have to have superpowers in order to be a hero. In fact, you can be just an ordinary person, such as, and then I'm going to list some of the people that I discussed in my notes. Basically, when you read my introduction, you should get an idea of what I'm going to discuss. Right off the bat, you know that I'm going to be talking about the fact that you don't have to have superpowers in order to be a hero. And you should already know that in my paragraph somewhere, in my paper somewhere, I'm going to be discussing these three people that I've listed. Okay, so then I can go ahead and start my first body paragraph. And my first body paragraph is going to kind of revolve around this, which I wrote in my outline, so I already kind of know what I'm going to be talking about. It needs to start with your topic sentence and go into your supporting details. So I should be able to read your first sentence and get a general idea of what the passage or what that paragraph is going to be about, and then you get more specific. Your topic sentence should be 100% your own. You should not use something you find from another source. You need to be sure to cite any supporting details that you found from other sources. This can be confusing. So what you need to do is when you have a source you need to cite, like this one right here, I need to go back and cite by the time I'm done. If you have a source that you need to cite and you are confused as to how to do that, please, 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 please raise your hand. All right? Your last sentence of the paragraph also needs to be 100% your own and either sum up the paragraph or kind of lead us into the next one. You never want to end on a citation. And then once you get to the end of your paragraph, you're simply going to hit the enter key one time and then hit tab to indent. So just like we did for the introduction, we're going to go back and we're going to delete this stuff. It's going to start us off already tabbed, and I can go ahead and write in here. Now, because this is more of a personal piece and I'm trying to convince people that you don't have to be, have superpowers in order to be a hero, and I'm doing a personal speech, I can use I, me, my, that kind of stuff within the passage. I don't want to overindulge and use it in every sentence, but I can go ahead and use those first person pronouns here. So I can put something like, I believe my stepmother to be an ordinary hero. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this paragraph. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to start to go more in depth with some of these supporting details that I've listed in my outline. So I'm going to repeat that for my second and my third body paragraph. If you have more that you're going to be discussing, perhaps you're answering more of those questions that were suggested to us, you can do that. It does not have to be strictly 5 paragraphs. It should be a minimum of 5. So you want your introduction, your 3 body paragraphs, and then you have your conclusion. If you have more than 3 body paragraphs, each body paragraph follows the same set of instructions. Just make sure that you're following those instructions for your 4th and 5th, whatever. And then you've got your conclusion down here. By the time you're done, all of this will be gone and it is simply your paper that is left on screen. If you have any questions while you're writing this, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you.